Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Dietrich, and today we are test driving a 2024 Hyundai Kona Limited. This is a front-wheel drive model, 1.6-liter turbo engine. The Limiteds come hard-loaded. The only option to note is all-wheel drive, which this one doesn't have. But it's got fancy minimalist digital gauges, it's got factory navigation system, it's got wireless Apple CarPlay, it's got heated and cooled seats, heated steering wheel. You can take the car for a walk on the outside with the key. And it feels like, realistically, if they kind of skimped on something, it's the chassis refinement, because the car drives very, very well, but if you push it hard, it doesn't like it. The handling gets a little wobbly if you go a little too fast into a corner, but at normal and even above average speeds, it's more than adequate. So from a driving perspective, oh, feel the power. I think the driving is the only thing that kinda sorta disappoints me about this car, but I only say that because the rest of it is so good. The car looks fantastic. The equipment's fantastic. The value is fantastic for the MSRP compared to the other cars in the class. I really genuinely love this car. The chassis could be a little bit better. That's all I'm saying. But other than that, it's great. The engine is fine. It doesn't really draw too much attention to itself one way or the other. It does have good performance, but it's not super fast. It is refined-ish. I mean, it's, you know, it does its job without you noticing it. I feel like they kind of built a car to be as appealing as it could be when it was just sitting there, and then put an engine and a transmission and some suspension and some steering in it. That seems to be what Hyundai has done with the new Kona. And you know what? That's fine, because that is a recipe for success sales-wise. I think this is a very desirable car. I think it's a car that they'll sell a ton of, based on almost the looks alone, because it really does look nice with its whole light bar across the front and light bar across the back, and it's very cool, this car. As soon as I got in it, it was just like, ooh, wow, look at this. The features are great, heated steering wheels and wireless CarPlays, and I really like kind of the design of it. The 4 dots on the steering wheel instead of the H, and 4 short taps in Morse code means H, so that's where that came from. I like the digital gauges, how they're just kind of, like I said earlier, minimalist but very effective, and just the whole thing feels very modern, very cool. Yeah, and it's sort of, you know, if you're saying that 5 out of 10 is average as far as the driving experience, this is a 6.5 out of 10. It's not bad, it's better than average, but it's not, you know, there are cars that drive better in the class. Although now that I think about it, well, Mazda CX-30 definitely drives better. I kind of prefer driving the Chevrolet Trax, strictly from a driver's perspective. This car's got more stuff going on in here than the Trax did. If you're actually going to take a teeny tiny SUV off-road or into the snow on a regular basis, I'd say that the Crosstrek is probably the better choice. I like this better than the Kia Seltos, which I've also driven the new Seltos. So yeah, maybe for the class it actually doesn't drive that bad. It's a class of, you know, let's be honest, not Le Mans racing pedigree vehicles, so that's 65 miles an hour. on a decent road to give you an idea for wind noise and tire noise. You do get some wind noise, but not very much. The tire noise is a little more prominent in here. If you watch my full review on this car, which I will put a link to in the description, I'm sure that I will be somehow more gushing with my praise, even though I don't feel like I'm talking trash about it now, but it's a little bit of qualified praise when you're driving it. Although the more miles I put on it, the more I am getting used to it, but it just, you get some body roll in the turns that could be a little bit better controlled. The ride's pretty good. But again, you feel the road. You know, this is a pretty smooth road, and I am getting some jolts through the suspension, but it's a relatively short wheelbase. But yeah, I took it to work yesterday and gave a couple of people rides in it because we have to shuttle each other back and forth to the employee parking lot sometimes, and everybody was pretty impressed with it. Yeah, see, if you just kind of take a set through the turn and do this, then it's fine. But if you try to, you know, decreasing radii or a mid-corner correction, you're not going to have as much control as you would like to have there. You have to understand, if you're a normal person, normal. If you're an average person, average. What do these words even mean? The reason why people like myself take it upon themselves to spend almost 20 years in the car industry and then start a YouTube channel where I end up strapping a GoPro to my head and filming myself driving cars and giving other people my opinions on them is because we're extremely interested in cars, and what makes us happier than anything else in a car is for it to be fast and corner flat and feel like we're connected to it. For the average car buyer, this is really not a concern, which is why, you know, a lot of cars that win top awards from car magazines are not necessarily bestsellers because, you know, yeah, that's what the car journalist nerds like, but it's not necessarily what the people want. And I think that this car is much closer as far as what the people want. In my opinion, I think this thing nails it. Nails it. And for the car journalists, people, yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. It's a very likable car. I could actually, if things aligned in a certain way, a lot of the cars I drive, it's like, well, that was nice or that wasn't that nice, but I'd never buy one. There's a chance I'd buy one of these just because it's so cool. Not a great chance, I admit, but you know, I wouldn't kick it out of bed immediately just at the thought of it. The all-new Hyundai Kona. The small SUV for the stylish person who's in a hurry, but not that big of a hurry, because even though it corners well, it's not perfect. Do-do-do. Hyundai rhymes with Sunday. I've been mispronouncing Hyundai, whatever, and people are forever getting on to me on it. And actually, technically, I believe the correct pronunciation is Hyundai, but since I don't want to sound like I'm being obnoxious and affecting a Korean accent when obviously I am not a native Korean speaker, I will stick with Hyundai. So I apologize for all my previous Hyundai videos where I was saying it wrong. You did it wrong, man. Well, when I get to discussing my own pronunciation, I think that's probably everything I have to say about the test drive on this car. If you liked my video, please smash that like button. Leave me a comment. Tell me how amazing I am. Subscribe to my channel. And have a fantastic day. Bye-bye.